Alright, the first step I need to take to make my new pouch is to decide on the dimensions that the pouch is going to be. And to do that, I've just measured the area on the bag where the pouch is going to go. And that comes to 13.5 inches by 5 inches. And I want the pouch to be about 4 inches deep. So that gives me my dimensions. Once I got that, I just got to add some seam allowance. The seam allowance is going to be 3/8 of an inch. The reason I'm going with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance is because I'm covering the seams in 3/4 inch grosgrain ribbon. That's going to be folded in half. That gives me 3/8 of an inch. So basically, I just add that. I add that 3/8 of an inch to the outside of the dimensions of the bag. That gives me my front and back panel. So I made a mock-up of the front and back panel. Obviously, I only need to cut one because the front and back panel are going to be the same size. So I just cut that out of my large sketch pad here. So you can see this line on the outside. That's going to be my seam allowance. And from the inside of that line to that line, top to bottom, that's the dimensions of the actual bag itself. So once I've got that figured out, I can move on to basically making the top and bottom. The top's going to contain the zipper tape. So I got to decide on how long the zipper is going to be. So I think the zipper is going to be, it's going to come down the side of the bag about 2 inches, go all the way across the top, and then down the other side of the bag another 2 inches. So 13.5 plus 2 and 2, that gives me about 17 inches, 17.5 inches rather. I add some seam allowance to the edges of the zipper, so we got 17.5 plus 3/4 comes to about 18.25 inches. So now I need to cut 2 pieces. I've already done it here, and you can see my sketch pad's only 18 inches, so I had to, in order to get that 18.25 inch, I had to add a little bit of extra paper to the sides of these. So I cut these 2 pieces here. These are going to be the 2 pieces of fabric that go on either side of the zipper. And to decide on the dimensions of these, well, first I got to know what size zipper I'm working with. And I originally wanted to go with number 8 YKK nylon coil zippers, but I don't have any number 8. I've got number 5 and I've got number 10, and I just decided to go with number 10 so I didn't have to order any more zipper tape. So it's going to be a pretty large zipper for this pouch, but that's okay. Now, to decide on the dimensions of those pieces of fabric, I needed to make a mock-up. This is a mock-up for the first pouch I made that fits on the side of the bag. And somewhere in here I've got the mock-up already figured out for this one. Okay, so I got to figure out the dimensions of the zipper tape. You can see here I've marked the edge of the zipper. Basically this line going down the center, that's going to be the center of the entire mock-up here. And then the edge of the zipper tape is here and here. I think, if I remember right, that comes to about 1.5 inches. I don't know how well that's showing up there, but it's about 1.5 inches for the zipper tape. Now I know that I'm going to sew the first piece of fabric. The edge is going to get sewn right to the edge of the zipper tape, and then I want it to come past the zipper teeth, so it's going to be about this line here, and then it's going to go basically back. It's going to go from that fold, and it's going to go back to the edge of the pouch, and then I've got my seam allowance right here. So this is the seam here, that's the edge of the fabric. So once again, I go from the edge of the zipper tape, covering the zipper teeth, and then back to the edge. So basically I measure that. I don't even remember what the measurements exactly were. Let me see if I can do this real quick. So that comes to about 1.25 inches, and then from that fold to the edge of the fabric is about 2 7/8 inches, something like that. I think I wrote it down over here. Yeah, that makes things easier. Okay, so I got 1.25 inches plus 2 7/8 inches, and that gives me 4 1/8 inch. So that'll be the width of the first piece of fabric, and then the second one, you can see there's 2 lines here. They're both folds, and that's because I wanted the folds to overlap each other. So on the other piece, I got the edge of the zipper tape here, I go to this inside fold here, and then back to the edge of the fabric. So that's going to be 3/8 of an inch plus 2 inches, gives me 2 3/8 of an inch. I think my camera's having trouble focusing, but we'll just keep going. So that gives me the dimensions of the 2 pieces of fabric that I need to cut for the zipper tape. So that's my first piece of fabric, the 2 pieces for the zipper tape, and that just leaves me the bottom panel. That's easy enough to figure out. If here, let me find that front panel again. So if this is 5 inches and the zipper's coming down 2 inches, then the remaining 3 inches is obviously going to be part of the bottom panel. So I've got 3 inches plus 3 inches plus the 13.5. So what does that come to? I don't know. I can't do the math at the top.